Hey guys, my name's Holly and I'm going to take you through a short yoga sequence for drummers today. This is a sequence that I've put together as a drummer myself, specifically to target areas of pain or tension that we experience in our practice and performance. So we're going to go ahead and get started today in a seated position, beginning with some breathing. So just take a cross-legged seat on the floor if that's comfortable for you. You can also sit on a cushion or a pillow. You can sit on a chair if that's more comfortable, or maybe even sitting on your heels. And the first thing that you're going to do here is take the palms on top of your knees and begin to close down the eyes. And sit up nice and tall with a straight spine and elongate the crown of the head towards the ceiling. And here you're just going to tune into your natural breath. So as you inhale through the nose, just notice the quality, the sound that the breath makes. And on the exhale, slowly releasing it out. I'm just doing that a couple of times. And beginning to take the attention inside, noticing how the body and mind is feeling today. And on the next inhale, breathing first into the chest, and then all the way into the belly, filling up, and then exhale to release. One more time, breathing first into the chest, and then into the belly, and then release. And setting yourself a goal to remain with this attention to your breathing throughout this short practice. And from there, keeping the eyes closed and just moving into a little bit of a neck stretch. And take the right fingertips towards the left-hand side of the head and begin to drop the head towards the right-hand side. I'm trying to keep the spine straight, not leaning forward or back. I'm just inhaling, again filling up chest and then the belly. And then release as you begin to feel a gentle stretch through the left-hand side of the neck. Inhale to release, come back to center. And just exhale there. And taking it to the opposite side, left fingertips come to the right-hand side of the head. Just dropping the left ear towards the left shoulder. Notice any thoughts that begin to cross the mind. And if you can, just bringing the attention back to the sound of your even inhale and even exhale. And slowly release the left hand back down to the knee, inhale back up to center. And blinking open the eyes. Moving into a side stretch now, so taking the right hand down to the ground. As you inhale, sweep the left fingertips up overhead. If there's any pain or tension in the neck here, you can take the gaze down towards the bottom hand. Otherwise, gazing up towards left fingertips as you reach the fingertips towards the opposite wall. I'm feeling a stretch here from the outside of the left hip all the way up to the left shoulder. I'm just noticing the impact on the breath as you move deeper into the stretch. And if it becomes difficult to breathe, just gently backing out, going somewhere with a little bit less depth. Inhaling back to center. And exhaling there. And opposite side, inhale, sweep right fingertips up. Noticing any difference between the two sides of the body here. So really common to have one shoulder that's tighter than the other, specifically with drummers. And so this is your tighter side, maybe just not going into the stretch quite as far. Just keeping the attention onto that deep inhale, deep exhale. Inhaling back through center and exhaling there. Moving into a tabletop position. And stacking the hips over the knees and the shoulders over the wrists. You're going to spread your fingers really nice and wide here. So this forms the foundation for our downward facing dog. And then as you gaze forward, inhale to begin to drop the belly and take the gaze up to the ceiling. Exhale to round the spine, push the ground away. These are cat-cows. Inhale, drop the belly, draw the sternum through the shoulders. Exhale, really exaggerate the round in the upper part of the spine. Take the gaze towards the belly button. 3 more of those. Inhale up. Exhale to round. Inhale, gaze up. See if you can extend the length of the gaze on the ceiling. Exhale, round. Tuck the tailbone. Last one, inhale up. Opening through the chest. Exhale to round. And from there, you're going to move to lay down all the way onto your belly. But to show you guys this stretch, I'm actually going to face the opposite way. I'm going to move into a stretch called broken wing pose. So laying on the belly, extend the right arm out to the side and take the left fingertips just under the left shoulder. Begin to relax the shoulder down to the ground and then roll over your right shoulder. So see if you can relax the head so that it's just resting on the ground here with no effort. Your left foot can come to behind the right knee or maybe in front of the right knee if that's more comfortable, even resting both legs on top of each other. And here you can control the depth of the stretch by where the right arm is. So if this is too intense for you to have it at a right angle, you can take the right fingertips closer to the right hip and just gently bend the knee so that you don't feel as intense a stretch here on the shoulder. And wherever you are, breathing in and out through the nose, just becoming aware of the sensations in that shoulder. Again, if you begin to experience any nervy tingling or pins and needles, probably a sign just to back out of the stretch a little bit. And inhale, roll back to the center. And just take both arms along your sides for a second. Rest the right ear to the ground. Notice the difference between the two shoulders here. And taking opposite side, left arm extends, rolling over the left shoulder now. And really seeing if you can release all of the weight of the head into the ground. You might even like to close down the eyes. And so these are stretches that you can always take for longer if you've got more time. And whenever you do them, make sure that you're really paying attention to the quality of the breath. And rolling back to center. And stretching both arms out towards the hips. And this time resting left ear on the mat, just for a moment. And taking the hands just underneath the shoulders and pushing yourself back up. And from here you're going to move into a downward facing dog. So again, spreading the fingers nice and wide, tuck under the toes, and lift the hips up towards the sky. Now in this pose, it's not important to have the heels connected to the ground. More importantly is to try to keep a straight line from the fingertips all the way up to the hips. And to do that, really, really good to bend the knees if you've got tight hamstrings. And this can be quite a difficult one if you've got tight shoulders, which many of us drummers do. And so just taking 5 breaths here. You can even pedal out through the legs if you like. And first stretching the right leg, and then the left for a couple of breaths. Next inhale, we're going to roll forward to a high plank. So inhale, ripple forward, stack the shoulders over the wrists, gaze forward. Exhale, roll back. If that high plank is too intense for you when you roll forward, you can always inhale, roll forward, then drop the knees down. Just try to keep the hips from lowering too much. So we're still keeping that integrity in the upper body, slightly doming into the shoulders. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. 3 more. Inhale, roll forward. Try to draw the chest through the shoulders. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward. Spread the fingers wide, push the ground away. Exhale, back. Last one, nice and strong. Inhale, roll forward, gaze forward. And exhale, back, downward facing. And from there, beginning to tiptoe the feet up towards the hands. Bend the knees a lot. And take the feet to about hip width apart. And from there, you're going to take hold of opposite elbows and hang down into a ragdoll stretch. And so this one is a really beautiful stretch for you to do any time of the day. It's great first thing in the morning because it allows us to open up through the hamstrings and the lower part of the spine, the lumbar spine, after we've been lying down or sitting for a long period of time. Making sure that you keep the knees really, really bent here and tip the weight forward into the big toes if you can. So you're trying to stack the hips over the knees, over the ankles. And take an inhale through the nose. And each exhale, just trying to inch the knees a little bit more towards straight. Starting to feel that stretch come on. One more inhale through the nose here. And on the exhale, releasing the fingertips down towards the ground. And really exaggerate the bend in the knees now so that the chest is sitting on top of the thighs. And then rolling up slowly for 5, 4, upper body is relaxed, 3, 2, chin is tucked, head comes up last, and 1. Just rolling the shoulders open. And take one big breath in through the nose here. And out through the mouth. Moving into a little bit of balancing. And turning the right toes out to the side, we're going to come to a tree pose. And so here you can take the sole of the foot towards the inside of the calf, if that's comfortable, making sure that you spread the left toes nice and wide so you're giving yourself a strong base. Lift up through the left quadricep. You can also take the sole of the foot to the inside of the calf. Just avoid placing it on the knee. And if that's too much for you, for any reason, you can always just keep the toes down. And balancing in this way. And bring the hands to heart center wherever you are in your tree pose. And take one inhale here. Exhale out. And then inhaling, taking the arms up overhead. And simply balancing here, noticing the little micro adjustments that you need to make in the body. I'm trying to draw the belly in and tuck the tailbone under. Engage the core, the midsection of the body. Exhale, hands back through heart center. And slowly plant the foot down. Wiggle the legs out and then change sides. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, reach the fingertips up. And you can select a drishti or focal point which can help you to balance in these balancing poses. Anything about 5 feet in front of you that's not moving, maybe a speck on the wall or something like that. And just lock your gaze onto that and see if that helps you to balance. If you'd really like to challenge yourself here, you can even close the eyes or take the gaze up towards the fingertips. Exhale, hands back through heart center and release down. And coming to one more balance pose. Inhale, reach the fingertips up. And this time coming up onto the tiptoes and strengthening through the ankles and feet here. And then as you exhale, you're going to begin to very slowly bend the knees and start to work your way down to sit on the heels as slow as you can go. And then making your way down into your boat pose or Navasana. And so this one is the core control section of our little practice today. If this is too intense and it causes you to feel any sort of pain or drop out in your lower back, just take the big toes down to the ground or the soles of the feet entirely down to the ground. Otherwise, bringing the calves parallel and lifting out of the chest, so try to grow out of the waist rather than collapse. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly cross the feet and come down to sit. Moving into Baddha Konasana, which is a really beautiful forward fold that also opens through the inner and outer hips. Here you can take the heels close to the groin, or you can take them a little bit further away from you in more of a diamond shape, whatever suits you better. You might even find that you get a hamstring stretch in this one as well. And taking the hands down to the feet, you're going to try to open the soles of the feet like the pages of a book. And then inhale, draw the chest forward, roll the shoulders back. And exhale to a forward fold. So using the strength of the arms here to bring yourself down into a forward fold. We're not aiming to touch the forehead to the feet at all. Just trying to feel a stretch through the outer hips, the inner thighs, adductors, and across the lower back or lumbar spine. Tuning back into your breath. Noticing the sound of it. And slowly inhaling to bring yourself back up. And from there we're going to move into our final stretch, which we're going to enter via downward facing dog. And so bringing yourself just briefly back up to your downward facing dog, and then root down through the left foot. Inhale to sweep the right toes up. And on the exhale, you're going to come forward to pigeon pose. So you're taking the right knee behind the right ankle and the right knee behind the right wrist and the right ankle behind the left wrist. Drop the left knee down. And so here you can control the intensity of this stretch by where the right foot is. So if you want it to be quite strong in the outer right hip, you can bring that calf parallel to the front of the mat. Otherwise, what most of us will do is bring the toes closer to the left hip. And here aiming to square the hips to the front of the mat. Take a big breath in, exhaling. Maybe it's available to come down to the elbows. This can be quite an intense stretch when you begin to practice it for the first time. So you might even like to close the eyes and just take this opportunity to zone in on the sensations that are forming in that outer right hip and right glute. Again, this is a great stretch to stay into for longer if you've got time. Maybe even walking the hands all the way out in front and releasing the forehead down to the floor. Slowly inhaling, come back up. Plant the hands, curl under left toes, and pick yourself back up to downward facing dog. Just walk out the legs here for a second and notice the difference between the two sides of the body. And possibly the right leg feels a little bit longer or freer at this point. And then planting right foot down, inhale, sweep the left toes up. And exhale, take it forward to your pigeon on the opposite side. Now you might find that the hips are very different in their mobility in this stretch. So for example, this is my tighter side. So you can even put something like a pillow or a cushion under that leg so that you give yourself a little bit more height to be able to square the hips to the front of the mat. if it's available, coming down onto the forearms, closing down the eyes, and tuning back into the breath. And seeing if you can take the breath first into the chest, then into the belly, then release. I'm just repeating that 3 more times. 3 deep breaths. And seeing if there's somewhere in the body that you can relax or soften, maybe through the jaw, maybe the tongue. And then inhale, slowly blink open the eyes. And planting the hands once more, roll over the right toes. Lift yourself back up through downward facing dog. And from there, coming back down to your seated position, same way that we began. I'm sitting cross-legged comfortably, and palms come back down onto the knees. The eyes can close once again. I'm sitting up nice and tall, straight spine. And here, just take a couple of normal breaths in and out through the nose. Notice the quality of the breath now. Notice how the body feels, the mind feels. Do you feel any different? And final inhale here. All the way into the belly. And then exhale. And then blinking open the eyes. Thanks very much for practicing with me. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this class and found it useful. If you've got any comments or feedback at all, please leave a comment below, or you can like and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks very much.